The Prince of Wales has said that an urgent wake-up call is needed for what's going on with the planet's oceans. Speaking ahead of a UN conference on ocean protection, which is due to start in the southern French city of Nice on Monday, Prince William said it could no longer be a matter of out of sight, out of mind. Let's take a listen.
If we are to reach our goal, we urgently need to take bold action to protect and restore our planet. We must realise the potential of the blue economy for our ecosystems, our economies, and our communities. With creativity, ingenuity, investment and support, we can unlock exciting innovations and solutions that protect our planet, create jobs, sustain livelihoods, and encourage prosperity. This challenge is like none that we have faced before. But I remain an optimist. I believe that urgency and optimism have the power to bring about the action needed to change the course of history. I'm an optimist because as the founder of the Earthshot Prize, I see the incredible examples of the ideas, innovations, and technologies that are harnessing the power of the ocean whilst protecting its vitality.
Prince William's full speech is available on our website, but here are a few of the points he made. He said that while the world's nations have committed to protecting 30% of the land and sea by the year 2030, so far only 17% of the land and just 3% of the ocean have been fully protected. He also noted three of the big issues affecting the oceans: rising temperatures, plastic pollution and overfishing. Our reporter Pierre-Antoine Denis was at the event at the Grimaldi Forum in Monaco for us. He gave me this analysis of Prince William's speech.
Yeah, so it was a very strong sense of urgency, but also optimism from the Prince of Wales there in this speech that was described as a landmark speech. And it's true that some of the words that we've been hearing were very, very strong in his call to action and this idea that we all in this together, wherever we are, whoever we are. For some, it's already an existential threat. For others, it is important to act because we owe it to the people who are already feeling the brunt of climate change. This is a very strong call, but also a call that's been repeated over and over again by both Prince William and King Charles over the years. And we've been hearing about how we need to act together with urgency and optimism while we still have the chance, because as I said, for some nations around the world, Pacific Islands, for instance, the threat of climate change and sea level rise is already just there to the extent that some are already thinking about drawing plans to relocate themselves as climate refugees. This is just one of the many issues that Prince William has touched upon. But he also looked at the optimism about the innovation that is around the different issues that surrounding our oceans and what can be done with the right incentives, but also the right funding.
And Pierre, he's of course speaking ahead of the UN Ocean Conference starting on Monday in Nice in France. What can we expect from the conference? What kind of commitments can we expect?
So there should be, by the end of this conference, hopefully by the beginning of it, according to the French officials, the full ratification of a treaty about the high seas. So it's to create some sort of governance around the international waters and protected marine areas to be increased considerably. There is this target that has been signed a few years ago around the idea that 30% of seas and protected land and close to marine life should be protected. At this stage, it's only 8%. So there's still a long way to go. And Prince William echoed that in that speech as well, about how this is the ambition, this is the target, but it needs to happen now. And there are real questions around this conference that kickstarts on Monday with, if Donald Trump isn't here, calling climate change a hoax, how can there be actual incentive and actual implementation and funding around these programs if the US isn't in it?
The Prince's speech comes a day after he released on his social media accounts his own interview with the veteran broadcaster Sir David Attenborough, in which they spoke about the future of the planet's seas. In today's speech, Prince William paid tribute to Sir David's new film Ocean, saying it made the most compelling argument for immediate action he has ever seen.
watching human activity reduce beautiful sea forests to barren deserts at the base of our oceans is simply heartbreaking. For many, it is an urgent wake-up call to just what is going on in our oceans. But it can no longer be a matter of out of sight, out of mind. The need to act to protect our ocean is now in full view. As ever, Sir David leaves us with a sense of optimism that all is not lost. He believes change is possible. Put simply, the ocean is under enormous threat, but it can revive itself. But only if together we act now.
Chris Boiler is an oceanographer and a scientific director of the Tara Ocean Foundation. He's also in Monaco and gave me his reaction to Prince William's speech.
Yeah, well, the damage causing to the deep sea is very concerning, and what may potentially happen in the future is even more concerning. There's a lot of interest in deep sea mining, seabed mining, opening that up as soon as possible. There's a lot of damage being caused by bottom trawling due to industrial fishing. Oftentimes, these are done in areas beyond national jurisdiction, so-called the high seas. There is indeed a treaty being put in place that is currently being ratified, which we hope will protect those areas. But it's incredibly important that we give protection to these areas and perform more research to understand exactly what is happening in these high seas areas and what they do for the well-being of our entire planet. You know, just because the ocean is far away from our homes doesn't mean that the oceans don't affect our daily lives. They're in fact very important for regulating the climate, regulating the weather, and assuring the health, the well-being of the entire planet.
And at the end of this conference next week in Monaco, in Nice, we expect a political declaration to be signed by the countries attending. It's non-binding, but how could it be helpful for scientists like yourself?
Well, I mean, first of all, we have this, the fact that this ocean event is happening, organized by the UN, is a very clear sign that there is a realization of the urgency of the issue. There is important time being given to what the ocean does for the well-being of our planet, and there's also time being given to the biodiversity within the oceans and what biodiversity helps the oceans to perform. Most of that biodiversity is microscopic. It's the plankton, and it's those plankton that assure the health of the whole system. So there's a good urgent realization about this, and in many cases there really is scientific clarity on how things work and what we need to do to find solutions. Now what we need is political courage to stand up and really ensure that these actions are taken forward very urgently, very quickly, notably in the high seas, which are beyond, you know, the national jurisdictions. We need, you know, international programs to help address this urgent problem.